Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I am going to dive on in and take a first look at Dr. Grordbort's scientific adventure violence role-playing game from Crowbar Creative, Stardog Limited, and Exalted Funeral. This is written by T.G. Grackle, Brian Saliba, and Zach Thieler. This is also based on the works of What a Workshop's very own Greg Broadmoor. This 334-page hardcover will be available soon. If you order from Exalted Funeral, you'll not only get the hardcover, but also PDFs of the core book, the field guide to Malfunctions, Game Master Screen, and character sheets. It's going to carry an MSRP of $50. I do believe the fulfillment of the Kickstarter is almost finished here in the US, and this should be available soon. I'm guessing probably early to mid-March, but I had to be honest, I do not know for certain. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Dr. Grordbort's scientific adventure violence role-playing game. That's a mouthful. Couple of things I want to mention before we jump on in. First of all, the fine folks over at Crowbar Creative were kind enough to arrange this review copy to be sent by Exalted Funeral. But neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's important you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of the book, but I do want to give you a very good feel for what you're going to find inside. So let's take a look at the back. The age of scientific adventure is here. Blast off into a retro-futuristic pulp sci-fi cosmos, bursting with ray guns, rocket ships, robots, and, did we mention ray guns? Based on the comics art and universe invented by What a Workshop's Greg Broadmoor, this is a unique and comprehensive guide to creating outlandish, interplanetary adventures compatible with the fifth and and a half editions of some game with dragons and other silly, scientifically unfounded elements. This is packed with more than 400 illustrations by Broadmoor and What a Workshop artists. Sweet, that is going to tell us what's in the book, but we're taking a peek inside, so we don't need to read that. So let's jump on in. I am really excited to see this because this had a very, very successful Kickstarter. This looks really unique. Funny enough, I am familiar with Dr. Grordbort's scientific adventure violence by way of What a Workshop's prop ray guns and blasters and things like that. I have seen them at San Diego Comic-Con. As far as the comics, the artwork, I am not familiar with those, but I have seen the ray guns. So here's our credits page. Looks like we've got quite a few artists outside of just Greg Broadmoor worked on this book. So make sure we give credit where credit is due. Content warning. It says, Dr. Grordbort's scientific adventure violence is a tabletop role-playing game setting and supplement for adults, specifically and crucially, adults not offended by satire. So there you have it. So we're going to have an introduction. Then, never mind the bollocks, how do we play? Character creation, which looks like a good amount of page space devoted to that. Then we got equipment, the Game Master Handbook, a bestiary, some NPCs, and then some appendices as well. I'm curious if you need to have the 5e SRD in order to play this. I would think probably. So here we've got a bit of a timeline, the almost entirely humanocentric timeline. Get into some of the planets. We've got the moon there, major settlements on the various different planets. Is this Mars? It is Mars. This looks like a blast. And I would tell you right now, the production quality that I am seeing is excellent. Nice, thick paper stock. So these are different factions. The Robot Alliance. All right, so here we get into the how do you play? So we have 8 technology types: light weapons, gadgetronics, biofiddlery, Martian glass, artillery, light machinery, and heavy machinery, as well as robotry, like for robots. Malfunction, automatic failure. I should point out, I have the field guide to malfunctions as well as the GM screen. We're going to take a look at both of those when we finish taking a peek in this. So we have a malfunction gauge. Whenever you interact with technology to fire a ray weapon, create a marvelous scientific effect, i.e. cast a spell, drive a tank, repair a robot, or anything else involving tech, you'll be rolling a d20. That roll might be a regular old attack roll, a skill check, or an additional d20 roll just to see if a malfunction occurs. You might even be forced to check for a malfunction caused by an outside force, like a lightning storm or an NPC with abilities that have calamitous effects on tech. Okay. Here's our character creation. I would take a guess you probably would want to have the SRD. Of course, that might just be the player facing, how do we play? So with our character creation, you're going to choose your species and home planet, choose your languages, bone up on your new Dr. Grordbort skills, choose your class, choose your background, and sally forth to scientific adventure. So we get some info about humans, Martians, moonlings, robots, Venusians, deep space species, i.e. everything else. Choosing your languages. Spellcasting with organs. All other spellcasting classes use gadgetronics to cast spells, and every spell is mapped to a specific gadgetronic that can be used to cast it. But anatomalies don't use gadgetronics. They use their internal organs, and each of their spells is mapped to a specific organ. For a list of which organ can be used to cast which spell, refer to the biofiddlery organ spell table. It's later in the book. So it appears that our core classes from 5e are getting a scientific adventure violence makeover. So we've got the Archomancer, or Archaeomancer, I should say. Automanestic, it's a monk. The Boffin is our wizard. The Dragoon is our fighter. The Humiliate is the bard. Evangelical Engineer is the cleric. Jackanapes is the barbarian. That's pretty wild. The Proto-dentured is the warlock. An Escape Grace is the rogue. The Tramper is the ranger. The Paladin is the tub thumper. All right, so I am going to go back to skipping pages again. I just wanted to share the various different classes with you. I think there are 10 overall, so I might have missed 1 or 2 before I got to that point. So you're going to choose your background. So we have various different backgrounds that are going to give you some different modifiers. So we had academic, grifter, laborer, occultist, pilot. Here's our equipment and vehicles. The light weapons catalog. This just has such a cool style to it. Really, really does. To be very honest with you, you could be taking a peek at this and maybe you don't necessarily want to utilize 5e mechanics. I could easily see you porting this over to any number of science fiction role-playing games. I like how we had images of every piece of equipment we were taking a look at. So these are the gadgetronics. the ether distortion receptor, casual toughs, minus 63 transmutifier, a wave pistol, enfeebler ray. Looks like we have the inventor or the manufacturer's name before these. The Dirtmaphone. And then we get an advertising insert. Looks like these are just some additional items that don't have art. Here we have armor and headwear. Full body expandex. Sensible leatherwear, like sensible outerwear, but leather. Kinky. It seems like this has a pretty cool sense of humor, too. Techno mounts. These can be vehicles. Yep. The Comfortron 800. A seat on legs. That's wild. Looks like these are rules for heavy machinery and artillery. And then it's going to give us some information about some of these larger vehicles and weapons. Battle tank. The Terror Tyke. Moon Hater Death Ray. Sweet. Blowhard class. What I'm really curious about is what sort of support is planned for this game line. Are there adventures that are in the pipeline that we will be seeing shortly? I don't know. So it looks like the most page space to this point has been devoted to the gear and equipment. So here's the GM handbook. Running games in Dr. Grordbort's universe. Chaos, tricky subjects and sensitivity, called shots, and equipment hit points. A note on alignment. The NPCs and creatures created for this setting do not have alignments. That is by design. The alignment system has its uses in older and retro systems, but it is too reductive for this setting. Designing the rebels, imperialists, and others as good or evil is overly simplistic and fraught. The universe and its factions and inhabitants are complex, and we leave it to you and your players to explore their nuances or to simply blow them all up. So we've got more gear, more equipment. Oh, this is the bestiary. Oh no, this is the bestiary now. Fungal stooge. Gas sack creature. Milton's drunken fussock. Shallow-beaked Grogan is the whipped shark. Animals with space helmets. Armored octopus. Switchblade raccoon. Oh, looks like our bestiary is going to be a decent length. We have different tripods. Dune Master Ryoko. And then we will get into our NPCs. So we do not have a sample adventure, it looks like, in our core rulebook. I would think you could certainly use these as pre-generated characters for your players if you'd like. Quite a few of these. Then we get into common non-player characters. So Gorilla, Leader, Motivator, Twit. Sniper, Rapscallion. And these are our appendices. So here we've got our malfunction tables, which I think is actually our field guide to malfunctions. I think that might include all of these charts in them. So these are the different malfunctions for the different types of equipment. So like robotery. Here's our biofiddlery organ, the spells index, telling us for the different organs what spells could be cast. So brain, heart, spinal cord, stomach, skin, and eyeball. And it looks as if these are spells that are directly from 5e because we have Magic Missile. And Magic Missile is actually from a particular gadget, a wave pistol. So it's showing what piece of equipment could be used to effectively cast that spell. So we've got some weapon information there. And our index, and we should get a character sheet, I would assume. Oh, mining the monster manual for creatures from other sources that don't feel quite scientific enough for Dr. G. Use the following tables to Grordbortify them, noting challenge rating adjustments. Moonify a monster. Marsifying monsters. I can't wait to jump into this and start reading it because this looks like this is a riot. So that is a peek at the core book. Now, I also received the field guide to malfunctions, which I'm going to take a guess are those charts. And that is what it appears to be. Looks like the font's a little bit larger. So rather than having to sit there and keep flipping back and forth in the core book, we've got these malfunction tables right here at our fingertips. So that's nice. This is one of the PDFs that is included with the MSRP of $50, as is the PDF of the Game Master screen. So let's get this shrink wrap off of here. I thought I might be able to just pull that shrink wrap off, but unfortunately not. Now I will know. Says, attention purveyors of fine retro-futuristic pulp sci-fi role-playing gamery. Keep your nefarious schemes and deadly plots well hidden from the prying eyes of your players with this high-tech 3-panel, 100% non-see-throughable screening device, featuring scintillating art on the front to keep your players thoroughly mesmerized, and heaps of useful information on the back to keep you looking like the well-prepped genius that you are. The Grordbortian Mastermind screen is an indispensable addition to your scientific adventuring kit. Nice. So here's the artwork. So that is from the cover of the book. Very nice. Okay, so let's see. What do we have? So we have conditions: blinded, charmed, petrified, restrained, stunned, unconscious. That's what's on that panel. Here we have class conversion and repair checks, 5e skills and associated ability scores, new skills and their associated ability scores. Telling you where to find the malfunction tables in the core book, but we do have that field guide. And then we have backgrounds. So raised on Earth, on Venus, on the Moon, on Mars, in space, on the Kuiper Belt, or other space rocks. So we've got the 8 technology types: healing artillery and heavy machinery, so repairing those. Fuel and ammo, called shots, hit points for equipment, and generating tuppenny equipment. Very nice. So that is a peek at the GM screen. So that is a look inside Dr. Grordbort's scientific adventure violence role-playing game from Crowbar Creative, Stardog Limited, and Exalted Funeral. And I will have a review in the not-too-distant future. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. It'll not only let you know when I share videos such as this first look, as I have to reach way over and get the book. Ringing that bell will also notify you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.